views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. Prime Minister Davis delivers a national address on the energy crisis. He says overtime was abused at BPL's BGC. But while that national address was happening, parts of New Providence plunged into darkness. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
It's a new day. Wake up. It's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up. It's a new
Good morning
day.
again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, August 18th, 2026. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, DeQuesta Dean will be joining us. Also this morning in business, our monthly Chamber Hour series with the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation. We are going to be getting reaction to the Prime Minister's national address and more this morning. That's all ahead. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, Prime Minister Philip Davis last night delivering a national address on the country's power crisis, during which he rebuked the abuse which allowed Bahamas Power and Light employees to receive substantial overtime payments. As he started his address, a large swath of New Providence was plunged into darkness. The Prime Minister's address focused on many of the same policies and pledges his administration has made on energy over the last few years. He said that BPL spent $20 million on overtime, despite the fact that all transmission and distribution work is the responsibility now of BGC. He said in a single 12-month period, 3 employees in one department received more than $600,000 in overtime between them. And he said one record showed an individual claiming 18 hours on Christmas Day, then 24 hours each of the next 3 days that followed. He said 90 hours across 4 consecutive days. The Prime Minister also said the issue is not about the overwhelming majority of BPL workers who are, quote, decent and skilled. He said, quote, this is about a system that permitted this type of abuse. He said the new overtime policy drawn up by BPL's board is in force at BPL. He promised that his administration will fix the crisis at the company, which he said it met in office in 2021. He said his government could rent another engine and patch another cable to get through one more summer, but that is not what they want to do, as they want to transform the whole system. F&M leader Michael Pintard continues to raise questions about how the Davis administration removed $265 million from the National Investment Fund and the location of $700 million in borrowed funds that was purportedly transferred to the fund. According to the government's 6-month report on budgetary performance for fiscal year 2025-2026, the NIF stood at a balance of $265.3 million in December 2025, But at the end of March this year, the fund held a balance of $0.2 million. The government stated that the money was used primarily to support its airport infrastructure program, which has seen the refurbishment and construction of some airports across Family Islands. But Pintar says there's no evidence of the $700 million the minister claims is in the NIF, and he's dispatched a letter to the governor of the central bank asking for the central bank's role in the matter. Pintar questioned which bank is holding the money and how the money was able to be transferred if there was no sitting board to first open the fund. He also asked what other purposes the funds spent were used for. Education, Science, and Technology Minister Chester urgent need to improve students' performance in mathematics. He says that early identification must lead to early intervention, and he says data must lead to action, and accountability must ultimately be about improving learning, not completing homework. Cooper says fundamentals is imperative for the country's progress. In 2025, a total of 375 candidates who sat the BGCSE achieved at least a C in mathematics, English, and a science subject. In 2024, 431 students achieved a C in those subjects. A man accused of raping a woman inside her home apologized to her during a videotaped confrontation. Mike Dwayne Ramming repeatedly told the woman he was sorry in the visual recording that was played at his trial before Justice Lauren Klein yesterday. Prosecutors allege that Ramming penetrated the woman with his fingers at a New Providence home on October 20th, 2024. During the confrontation, Ramming alleged that the victim said she was not sure why he wanted to hurt her. Ramming replied, quote, "I understand that, I'm sorry." The woman then questioned whether Ramming went into her children's room and disturbed her children. You can read more on the trial in today's Nassau Guardian. A man is facing murder and attempted murder charges stemming from a shooting on Emancipation Day. Prosecutors allege that 19-year-old Devontae Ferguson killed Dexter Kerr Jr. and attempted to murder Delano Brannon on August 3rd. The men were at a bar on West Bay Street when a gunman alleged to be Ferguson shot them. Ferguson was not required to enter a plea to the charges when he made his initial appearance before Acting Chief Magistrate Ansel Evans. He was denied bail. He makes his next court appearance in January 2027 to receive a voluntary bill of indictment that will move his case to the Supreme Court for trial. And a 27-year-old former trainee corrections officer has been fined $1,000 for trying to smuggle a quarter pound of marijuana into the prison for an inmate. Kenton Morley has to pay the money to avoid spending 3 months at his former workplace as an inmate. Morley pleaded guilty to drug possession with intent to supply at his arraignment before Acting Chief Magistrate Kara Turnquest, or Assistant Chief Magistrate rather, Kara Turnquest DeVoe on Monday. On August 13th, Morley reported for duty and was subjected to a second search after his superiors noticed an abnormality in his work boots. The search revealed 4 ounces of marijuana hidden inside his footwear. And popular content creator Elias Fritz sentenced to 6 months of probation for drug possession. The 20-year-old was arrested on August 12th after he was found with 12 grams of marijuana. Fritz pleaded guilty at his arraignment before Assistant Chief Magistrate Shaka Serville. If he's convicted of another crime while on probation, Fritz will have to pay a $500 fine to avoid a 3-month prison sentence. Fritz went viral on TikTok while working as a bartender at a popular tourist spot in New Providence. His popularity led to a modeling contract with the local brand and other advertising gigs. Fritz was later accused of involvement in a high-speed chase and shootout with police stemming from the attempted armed robbery of a taxi driver on August 11th last year. He was later granted $50,000 bail. Fritz was arrested again in May 2026 on accusations of car theft. Both trials are pending. Overseas, a ship was hit by a projectile today as it was sailing out of the Strait of Hormuz. That's according to the British military's UK Maritime Trade Operations Center. And an Iranian official says the route would not be reopened until the United States meets Iran's conditions. There was no immediate claim of responsibility, but the attack highlights the ongoing danger of attempting to transit the waterway as Iran continues to throttle shipping traffic, even as it finalizes negotiations with Oman on a plan to manage the critical passage. An unidentified projectile damaged the engine room of a ship and resulted in a crew casualty. According to a report from the UKMTO's security office, the maritime monitoring agencies did not provide any other details about the ship or its cargo, and it's not clear whether the crew member was killed in the attack or wounded. It said the Omani Coast Guard was assisting and that authorities were investigating. South Korea's president saying today the United States underpins national security. This after U.S. President Donald Trump's abrupt order to substantially reduce joint military exercises. That move has left many South Koreans baffled and concerned. An announcement in a social media post just before U.S. and South Korean soldiers began Monday's annual Freedom Shield exercises, which are largely designed to sharpen readiness against North Korean threats. Trump cited what he said was a good relationship with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and South Korea's refusal to join the U.S. war against Iran. Trump's move was apparently taken without consultations with South Korea and meant to reach out to Kim, deepening concerns about the reliability of the U.S.-South Korean alliance forged in the turmoil of the 1950-1953 Korean War. And Colombia's President Abelardo de la Espriella asking his ally, U.S. President Donald Trump, to suspend tariffs to help the South American nation recover from that powerful earthquake that killed at least 289 people last week. De la Espriella took office earlier this month, just days before the 7.4 magnitude quake struck. He was backed by Trump in Colombia's closely contested presidential election, which was decided in a runoff on June 21st, and has sought to emphasize his connections with the U.S. leader. Saturday night, he wrote on X, formerly Twitter, that he spoke with Trump and thanked him for aid sent by the U.S. in response to the earthquake. He added that he asked him to consider the temporary suspension of the high tariffs that affect Colombian products, quote, in order to provide relief to our business people who are facing very difficult times due to the effects of the earthquake. There's been no response from Trump and the Trump administration to the request. The U.S. has offered a total of $26.5 million in earthquake aid, including food, shelter, and health supplies, according to the U.S. State Department.
This is Sports Update.
In sports, Christian Robinson could legitimately be the next Bahamian to be called up to the majors in baseball. The 25-year-old power hitter for the Reno Aces is coming off one of the most efficient months of his career in the minor leagues. Robinson hit his fourth home run in August and 12th of the season on Sunday, but it came in a tough loss as the Aces fell 4-3 to the Tacoma Rainiers. Overall, Robinson's having a respectable season. He's on pace to play a career-high number of games in the minors this year. You can read more about his success in today's Guardian Sports section. And the Bahamas Athletic Physique Lions off to a smashing start, staging a thrilling event at the University of the Bahamas on Saturday. The first Bahamas Elite Physique Championships featured a number of the country's top stars in bodybuilding and fitness and some of the country's up-and-coming athletes in the sport. full list of the overall winners in today's Guardian Sports section. And from the NBA, Los Angeles Lakers Governor Jeannie Buss is legally contesting her siblings' plan to sell the family's remaining 17.8% minority ownership stake in the team to Josh Kushner and Bob Iger. That's according to a letter obtained Monday by the Associated Press. ESPN and The Athletic first reported that the siblings had voted to sell the family's trust remaining interest in the 17-time NBA championship team purchased by their father, Jerry Buss, in 1979. That decision would end Jeannie Buss's tenure as the Lakers governor because that job requires at least 15% ownership of the team. Jeannie Buss's attorney, Adam Strachan, writing to represent state that any decision to sell the family trust's ownership could not be effectuated without approval of the current co-trustees, Jeannie, Janie, and Joey Buss. The letter further states that the co-trustees are bound to vote the Los Angeles Lakers Inc. shares to ensure that an ownership requirement is maintained in order to ensure that Jeannie Buss may remain controlling owner, and that any attempt by the co-trustees to do otherwise and any attempt to aid or abet the co-trustees as such would constitute a breach of trust, breach of fiduciary duty, and be in contempt of court. Jeannie Buss has been the Lakers governor since Jerry Buss's death in 2013, and she led the family's decision to sell a controlling stake in the Lakers to Dodgers owner Mark Walter last year at a valuation of $10 billion. Walter, who was under federal investigation for tax issues, abruptly reached a deal earlier this month to flip the Lakers to Kushner and Iger at a valuation of $12.5 billion, another record for a pro sports team. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first look at weather brought to you by Star General. We've got a heat advisory in effect for the northern half of the country today. Everyone's being advised to limit outdoor activities and take all necessary precautions. Stay hydrated during peak sunshine hours, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're looking at heat indices getting up to as high as 118 Fahrenheit. We also have a dust advisory in effect for the entire country, as well as the Turks and Caicos Islands. The level of dust is expected to reach moderate levels, which may impact air quality and hinder visibility at times. Everyone, especially those with respiratory illnesses, should take precautions. So we've got a persistent high-pressure ridge that remains in place across the country, supporting hot temperatures, mostly stable conditions, and gentle to moderate breezes. Meanwhile, that Saharan dust will continue to produce hazy skies and limit shower activity. So again, with those heat indices, we've got the UV index in the very high to extreme range as well. So your forecast for today, the northern half of the country looking at partly sunny and hazy conditions, turning fair tonight, a 10 to 20% chance of showers, especially in the afternoon. Look for a mix of sun and clouds, turning variably cloudy tonight for the central and southeast Bahamas, also with about a 10 to 20% chance of isolated showers or afternoon thunderstorms. For boaters, winds west to northwest at 10 knots or less for the northernmost islands, variable at 10 knots or less for the northwest and central Bahamas, and northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots for the southeastern islands. The temperature story, another very hot day in store. We've got high temperatures around 92, 93 for most of the country. That's about 33, 34 Celsius. The heat index will make that feel like it's 106 Fahrenheit, 40 Celsius. But again, the northernmost islands seeing unbelievable temperatures, highs around 95 Fahrenheit, 35 Celsius, but the heat index will make it feel like it's as hot as 118 Fahrenheit, 48 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 82, 83 Fahrenheit, 28, 29 Celsius. Be careful out there today, folks. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have a look at your extended outlook coming up in just a bit. This weather check brought to you by Star General Insurance, made simple.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
It is time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Sunshine financing for a sing-a-ling-a-ling. Hey, hey. When you need that car home vacation every. Don't be profiling in this party. What? I want that 000. I girl on there cause I got no money. You only hear me, eh? You better go by Sunshine Finance and ask them for the 000 promotion.
Did you know that world-class medicine is just a quick flight away in Tampa? Tampa General is Florida's premier academic health system and one of America's top hospitals. Our global medicine program delivers advanced treatment options, assists with coordinating travel, and provides cultural support from a multilingual team. Discover the power of academic medicine at Tampa General's Global Medicine Program. For more, visit tgh.org/global medicine.
Headed to South Florida soon? Holiday Inn Express in Plantation welcomes you to the heartbeat of Florida fun. Whether it's business or pleasure, the Holiday Inn Express is close to sensational shopping, captivating dining, and nightlife. Elevate your Florida experience. Sleep well and rest easy at Holiday Inn Express. Complimentary breakfast buffet featuring seasonal favorites. Keep up your fitness routine in our 24-hour on-site fitness center with cardio equipment and free weights, or take a refreshing swim in our outdoor pool. Your special Bahamas tourist rate awaits. Holiday Inn Express, 1701 North University Drive, in Plantation. Book your getaway now. Call directly at 954-472-5600 or the sales department for reservations and additional information.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up.
At CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. With CFAL, you can provide the retirement you and your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Join the many businesses that have already entrusted CFAL to create the right pension plan for their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at cfal.com to get started on building wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Looking to elevate your gadget game, or are tech troubles simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows, or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Cades Village, or call 396-1100.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. 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 Wake up, wake up.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on Guardian Talk, the Guardian Radio app for smart devices, also on your televisions on Cable Thomas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text 422-4796 standard. Text rate supply. I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, DeQuesta Dean.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you with us.
Good to be here.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Happy Tuesday, Bahamas.
Happy Tuesday to you as well. More than halfway through the month.
I told you it's Christmas.
Yeah.
I
Might as well
here.
start playing it. Start playing those
Well,
songs.
ironically, they're already selling Christmas. The stores are stocked.
Which stores? I mean, the U.S.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
what it was. Ross, the Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby, everyone.
Christmas
everyone.
trees
Christmas.
up. I guess it's a good time to get a Christmas
even
tree.
Sam's, like, they have it Christmas stuff right next to the Halloween stuff. So
Right.
it's funny.
Oh, boy. Well, okay. Anyway, here we are in this mid-August show, and this morning we're going to be talking, of course, about the Prime Minister's address on the energy crisis, on BPL, what's happening there. And later in business, our monthly Chamber Hour series with the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation. We're going to be getting reaction to the Prime Minister's address, as well as some other updates on what they're doing at the Chamber. So that's all ahead. Let's get right into it right now with what else. Well, that is the news. And in the news, again, the Prime Minister's national address, about 15, 20 minutes or so on BPL. A lot of it was on the overtime issue. A lot of it was on that, but also explaining to people what's going on with Bahamas Grid Company and their role in providing electricity, at least getting the electricity to us, and who's doing what, and I guess the need for patience. And that was a big ask last night because while people were watching,
I saw it under the feed.
the power went off,
My electricity is off.
which is one of the greatest ironies in a long time. And so quite a few people didn't see the Prime Minister's address. And like many said, it went off just as he started speaking,
Wow.
which is suspicious.
Planned?
I don't know what that is. It's very odd. The power goes off anytime, every time around here. So it's not that suspicious, but it's quite a coincidence, right? But anyway, I want to play most of it for you, what he had to say if you missed it. And take a listen to Prime Minister Philip Davis and his national address on BPL last night.
My fellow Bahamians, good evening. In October 2022, when I first spoke to you in detail about BPL, I did not leave the harsh reality of the state of our electricity infrastructure and the hundreds of millions needed to fix our aging system to someone else. I came before you myself because the buck stops with me. Ever since, I've been honest about the scale of this challenge. In April of 2025, I stood in the House of Assembly and gave this country the most complete accounting of our energy system that any government had ever given. I did not soften it then, and I will not soften it now. I told the nation that we had inherited a power grid and a generation system on life support, barely hanging on. BPL was carrying more than $500 million of debt and another $100 million in unfunded pension obligations, $600 million in total on the shoulders of a company that could not pay for its own repairs. Engineers told us we needed $500 million in critical upgrades to prevent a complete failure of our electrical infrastructure. Not an inconvenience, a collapse. We were running 29 power stations across 17 islands, different manufacturers, different eras, some engines so old that no one still makes the parts to fix them. More than 60% of the generation equipment in New Providence. In the Family Islands, that number was 80%. And to keep the lights on at all, we rented engines for $40 million a year. Renting, money out the door, and not $1 of it buying an asset we would own at the end. My fellow Bahamians, the system we inherited was not designed for the country we have become. It was installed and laid down pre-independence, and a lot of it is more than a generation old. Every government since has added to it. No government before us took the bold position to rebuild a system that was made for the 21st century, taking into account rising temperatures, more violent and destructive hurricanes, and an economy that is growing faster than the time needed to complete the upgrades. Big changes are underway. The country is still quite away from that reality. Tonight, I'm going to describe how we go from where we are now to a system that supports our families, businesses, and a better, bigger economy. The energy system is made up of two separate but connected parts: generation and transmission and distribution. Therefore, adding more generation does not by itself keep your lights on. Generation is the engine. Transmission and distribution are the poles, the wires, the substations, the transformers, and the cables that carry that power from the generators to your street and into your home. You can have every engine in the fleet running perfectly. And if an overhead or underground cable fails, or a transformer catches fire at a substation, the lights will go out. That is what happened on the 30th of July. A transformer failure at the Blue Hill substation took the whole island down. It was not a shortage of engines. An underground cable fault caused the fire at a critical transformer. With an overhead line fault, a crew can often see a fault. Underground, they cannot. They must trace it, section by section, street by street, sometimes by excavation. That is why that particular repair took days instead of hours. It is not an excuse. It is an explanation, because you are entitled to know why, although it does not ease the misery we all felt. These challenges are compounded by the global heat wave we have been experiencing because of El Nino. The demand on the system has broken our previous peak twice this season. Heat not only raises demand and increases the strain on the equipment, it accelerates its deterioration. We are operating an old system in a new climate reality, and we do this on a chain of islands in the path of an increasingly violent hurricane season, in a world where energy supply chains are strained and traditional short-term lead items have become long-term lead items, and long-term lead items have become longer-term lead items as governments around the world race to upgrade their energy infrastructure. This is our climate reality. This is our geographic reality. It is not a complaint. It is the terrain on which we are building. As I stated earlier, parts of the system were built before independence. It was built for a smaller population, a smaller economy, and a different climate. We achieved political independence more than 50 years ago. Now, energy security must become part of our economic independence. I do not say this to point fingers. The responsibility to act is ours. We're not here to manage decline. We're not here to defend the status quo. We are transforming the whole system: generation, fuel, transmission, distribution, metering, finance, and governance. What we inherited is not what we will leave behind. Now, I could have managed energy the way it has always been managed. Rent another engine, patch another cable, get through one more summer, and hand the problem to whoever comes next. That is what was done for decades. I refuse to do it. A crisis is an opportunity to fix what does not work, and we choose to fix it. For the first time in our history, this country has a comprehensive nationwide to modernize how we generate, store, and distribute electricity across the whole archipelago. That plan is not a press release. It is under construction right now. Separated generation from transmission and distribution. That's how serious energy systems around the world are run. Bahamas Grid Company was established to take on New Providence's transmission and distribution, and it has delivered a $130 million foundational upgrade to our grid. That work includes stronger steel poles, larger conductors, modern protection devices, fiber communications, a looped transmission system, and 3 new high-voltage substations. In July, those substations had reached mechanical completion and entered final testing and commissioning. That work produced measurable results. Outage frequency in New Providence fell 45% against the historic average. Outage duration fell 35%, including during major weather events. On ordinary days, close to half on both those measures. Smart devices prevented tens of thousands of interruptions you never experienced because they never happened. Bahamas Grid Company is today a fully Bahamian-led utility under Bahamian management, accountable to this country. That is, as it should be. In 2025, the foundational work was associated with a 45% reduction in outage frequency and a 35% reduction in outage duration compared with historical averages. Bahamas Grid Company is today a fully Bahamian-led utility under Bahamian management, accountable to this country. That is, as it should be. Those gains are real, but the outages Bahamians are experiencing now are also real. The lesson is not that the earlier work failed. The lesson is that the upgrade is not yet complete, that reliability has not improved evenly in every community, and that an old and overstressed system can still lose ground when demand rises or critical equipment fails. That is why our plan reaches beyond the grid. At BPL, the work has been just as hard and far less visible. Generators that were unused or idle have been brought back online. A rotor replaced, a major overhaul completed, turbochargers rebuilt, alternators repaired, engines returned to service, one after another this year, each adding to the margin between you and a load shedding schedule. We executed a fuel hedge in December, 2.5 million barrels, a full year of protection, so a war on the other side of the world does not impact your light bill the way it would have if we had not executed the hedge. And the equity rate adjustment saved consumers $11.5 million last year. 1 in 5 residential customers paid no base rate charge at all. We signed agreements to bring liquefied natural gas into this country, a cleaner and cheaper fuel than the heavy oil we have burnt for generations. We have 23 microgrid and solar projects in development across the Family Islands, close to 200 megawatts of new generation with Bahamian companies as partners on almost every project. The world has noticed. Moody's upgraded our credit outlook twice in the span of 1 year, after not doing so in nearly 2 decades, and cited our energy reform as one of the major reasons. That is how a crisis becomes an opportunity. We stopped spending only to survive the next emergency and started investing to prevent the next emergency. BPL will continue restoring dependable generation while moving from rented temporary units to permanent efficient capacity. Critical overhauls must be completed. Maintenance must be planned from reliable asset data. BPL must integrate and expand battery storage systems, and rental generation must be phased out only when replacement capacity is tested and ready. BGC must complete and test the foundational grid work. The new commissioned, the transmission loop, switching capacity, protection systems, and control technology must be completed. Weak feeders must be rebuilt, and grid readiness work must keep pace with new solar and generation projects. And cannot help a customer if the grid cannot deliver the power. On generation capacity is returning now. Blue Hills GT2, out since the spring, is coming back. The battery storage system that shaves our evening peak returns to service. 2 Clifton Pier engines are scheduled to be back before the end of September. The Blue Hills turbine under major inspection returns in the first quarter of next year. In January, we began phasing out 40 megawatts of rented generation because permanent capacity will have replaced it. On the network, the substation equipment, switchgear, and high voltage assets that failed this summer are being replaced, not patched. Remote monitoring goes live at Clifton Pier this year and Blue Hills next, so faults are diagnosed by data rather than discovered by darkness. On fuel, the first phase of liquefied natural gas comes online this year, scaling to 190 megawatts of gas-fired capacity by late 2027, with new pipelines replacing a pipeline more than 40 years old. The combined cycle plants at Blue Hills will be commissioned during 2027 and 2028. We will be able to produce power at a fraction of today's fuel cost. My fellow Bahamians, new engines, cables, transformers, solar and battery equipment alone will not save a company that is not run properly. And I will not stand here and ask you for patience while ignoring what needs fixing on the inside. Last year, BPL spent approximately $20 million on overtime, despite the fact all transmission and distribution work is the responsibility of BGC. In a single 12-month period, 3 employees in one department received more than $600,000 in overtime between them. One record shows an individual claiming 18 hours on Christmas Day, then 24 hours each of the next 3 days that followed. 90 hours across 4 consecutive days. The overwhelming majority of BPL's workers are decent, skilled Bahamians who keep our lights on and go out in storms when the rest of us are told to stay inside. They have my respect and my thanks. This is not about them. This is about a system that permitted this type of abuse. A failure of management, of controls, of oversight going back many years and across administrations. It is not credible that a person works 24 hours straight, 3 days running, and does safe work. It is not fair to the ratepayer who funds every dollar. It is not fair to the honest worker whose profession is tarnished by it. A new overtime policy is in force. Planned overtime is capped. Any technical worker whose overtime exceeds 30% of base salary triggers a review by the division head and the executive management team and is to be reported to the board. Repeat patterns are flagged. We will apply this consistently and fairly, and we have engaged the unions because their members deserve a properly run company as much as any customer does. Every dollar recovered from waste is $1 available for a spare part, a repair crew, new equipment, and training. We will put more information and more energy choices in the hands of customers. Advanced meters can help identify outages faster and show households when and how they use electricity. We will accelerate modern metering so that Bahamians can manage consumption instead of waiting until the end of the month to be surprised by a bill. And we will create greater flexibility for residential solar. In consultation with IRCA, BPL consumer groups, and Bahamian solar installers, we will review the rules governing residential renewable energy systems. It's clear. Simpler applications, particular times, wider access to bi-directional meters, fair treatment of the energy a household produces, and appropriate credit for excess power supplied to the grid. I'm not going to stand here and tell you that every light will stay on tomorrow. What I will tell you is this. I know the scale of what we are dealing with. I have known it since the day I took office and have never once described it as smaller than it is. There will be setbacks. There will be equipment failures. There may be temporary disruption as old infrastructure is removed and new systems are connected. And as we build a more resilient system to survive and operate in the climate realities we face every year. But difficulty is not a reason to retreat. It is a reason to work harder, move faster, and communicate more honestly. I'm not here to manage this. I'm here to fix it. I said in Parliament that we will not accept the status quo. I meant it then, and I mean it now. Righting the ship requires more than engines and cable. It requires a utility properly governed, staffed, financed, and held to account. It requires management that answers for performance. That work is underway. It will not be comfortable, and it will not always be popular, but it's the only route to a country where the power is stable, reliable, and inexpensive. My fellow Bahamians, you returned this government to office, and you did not do so to keep things exactly as they were. You gave us a mandate to build on the progress and to confront the problems that others found too difficult or too costly to solve. You elected us to build a grid that can carry the country we are becoming, to build a generation we own instead of a generation we rent, to build a utility that serves you rather than simply trying to survive, an energy system on which a young Bahamian can open a business, a mother can keep the fridge running, an elder person can sleep through a summer night. This is the hardest infrastructure challenge our country has faced in 50 years of independence. It sat for decades because leaving it was easier. We took it on because you deserve a government prepared to do the difficult thing rather than the convenient one. We will finish what we started, not because it will be easy, but because the alternative is another generation of Bahamians living in the dark and being told to wait. We have waited long enough. What we inherited is not what we will leave behind. Thank you, good night, and may God bless you and the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Okay, Prime Minister Philip Davis last night, his national address about BPL, about 20 minutes there. Quite a few things said, not just about the overtime, but about where things stand at this point and where we have to go. Clearly, a lot of work still to be done, but he's claiming that there have been some successes. There have been some successes along the way.
Okay.
I mean,
that's good.
To be fair, this is going to be every time, every single time, every time. But to be fair, I've said this before on the show. Compared to where Eastern New Providence was a couple of years ago, the number of outages was dramatically less than
that's because it's switched to the west.
It's moved to the west, yes. So
because they used to have what you currently experience in the east.
Right. It used to be like that.
Right. It's flip-flop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the equipment on the east side has been
They worked on the east first because we were right. Yeah, maybe.
So now they have to focus on the equipment on the west
So when we
side.
have issues, it's again every time I say it, there's going to be whenever there's an island-wide thing. There was a dip this morning.
Right. Wow.
And I think a couple weeks ago there might have been for about 10 minutes or something.
Okay. Well, that's great improvement.
Yeah, so you got to hand it to them for that.
Yeah.
But what's happening out west is really
insane.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Really unbelievable.
Yeah.
So is it the growing pains or is it something worse? We don't know. But let's talk about what the Prime Minister will do soon. But again, he talked about overtime. He talked about... and this is the thing that has us confused. And this is why we wish when Bahamas Grid Company speaks, they would speak sensibly. Because we do need to understand what the staff issue is, right? If Kyle Wilson with the Electrical Workers Union is making it sound like they work for BGC, and the Prime Minister alluded to that.
Right.
But he made it sound like that's not supposed to be happening.
Right. So then...
But it is happening.
Then Bahamas Grid should pay the salary for when those workers work.
Oh boy. Well, that's another story.
Yeah, they should. It should be that...
But also, where are their employees?
That too.
They did say that they're recruiting from BTVI, which means these are new people with lacking perhaps some of the skill, well, at least the
experience,
that the BPL workers have or had. So there are going to be challenges there. But how bad is this, and how much are you going to be reliant on the BPL staff? We need to know.
Yeah.
But hey, let's get your reaction to it. I know you had quite a few things to say about what you heard, and I know the audience does as well. So Duquesne will say what she has to say, and you can call in 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. And continue to text. People have been texting all morning, 422-4796. So what stuck out to you?
Well, first, let me just say that I commend, this is leadership, where you I guess he tried to own, but where you own what's happening and you come to the Bahamian people and you present this information that he did. I want to commend that first of all. And I feel that that is what should have happened proactively at the beginning of the summer, not us being told that BPL is ready and setting up a false expectation and then this big crash. So what should have happened, and for next year perhaps it could be a lesson to come out early and say things like the grid is failing or this is a situation that we have going on. If they
Would
did
you
that,
want to hear the grid is failing?
No, but with that information, you can now say, help us control this by conserving your energy. What they came with the other day, if we had been told this in advance, we too could have been better prepared and not been set up to say, oh, you know what, BPL is ready for the summer load. So be proactive and come out and say, this is the situation with the equipment there's an El Nino happening, okay? So with that, it means that we're going to use more electricity. There's the possibility of all of these things happening. So help us by doing A, B, C, and D.
That was not going to be well received.
But people would have been positioned to expect that the challenges that are happening now would happen. And that's what leadership is about. It's about going out there and it's about saying, this is the reality.
When do you think he should have said this?
It doesn't necessarily need it to have been him, but it could have been the minister.
When? May?
This could have been May. This could have been April.
Right by the election, which means you're done. You'd have been kicked out.
Yeah,
so
but
no, that wasn't going to work.
So that's your better worry, not worried about. Or right after the election then. Well, at some point in May, early June then.
Get swing.
Okay, come out and say that. That's the first thing, Dwight. The second thing that I am irked about, how he keeps saying inherited. What is this inheritance? The first government was your government that worked with BPL and put all this infrastructure in. The PLP government has been governing more than the FNM with this particular BPL, BEC, whatever drama. So I just wish that they would all, whether it's the PLP or the FNM, I don't care, it's not political, just do away with this inheritance crap, okay? Because this is what the system is. The other thing I want to say is that summer 2027 is coming. So everything that you said today about improvements and your in this national address will be tested in summer 2027. So don't say the same things next year. Show us along the way what's being done.
Well, the way the world is going, summer 2027 will be December and January, because we just are going to be living in a continuous summer, it appears, at least for the time being. We're going to be back after the news. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us here.
Red comes looking farther, the closer I get. Don't know why I can't see the end over yet. A short leash and a short fuse.
6.9 FM. Streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app. Nassau, Bahamas.
Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Flow, Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line, powered by BTC, 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. And now at 8:21, it's time for another check of your weather for today. Brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. So we've got a heat advisory in effect for the northern half of the country, the northwest and the northern Bahamas. Everyone's being advised to limit outdoor activities and stay hydrated during peak sunshine hours, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Heat indices could get as high as 118 Fahrenheit today. Wow. We also have a dust advisory for the entire country, as well as the Turks and Caicos Islands. And the level of dust is expected to reach moderate levels, which may impact air quality and reduce visibility. Everyone with especially respiratory illnesses should take precautions. So today we're dealing with a persistent high-pressure ridge that remains in place across the country, supporting hot temperatures, mostly stable conditions, and gentle to moderate breezes. The Saharan dust will keep skies hazy and limit shower activity. But shower activity is expected to gradually increase across the northern Bahamas by Wednesday due to weak troughing combined with streaming tropical moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. High-pressure ridging and lingering Saharan dust will maintain generally stable and hazy conditions across the rest of the country. Thursday, that trough is forecast to move farther south, increasing shower chances across the northwest Bahamas by late Thursday into Friday. An approaching tropical wave will enhance shower activity for the southeastern Bahamas and spread into the central islands by Friday. So rain is coming. For today, though, the UV index also expected to be in the very high to extreme range. So your forecast for today, the northern half of the country looking at partly sunny and hazy conditions, turning fair tonight with about a 10 to 20% chance of showers, especially in the afternoon. The central and southeast Bahamas looking at a mix of sun and clouds, turning variably cloudy tonight, with about a 10 to 20% chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms, especially for the southeastern islands. Temperatures today hovering around 92, 93 Fahrenheit for most areas, 34 Celsius. The heat index will make you feel like it's as hot as 106 Fahrenheit, 40 Celsius. But once again, the northernmost islands looking at really high temperatures, highs around 95 Fahrenheit, 35 Celsius. But the heat index will make it feel like it's anywhere from 110 to 118 Fahrenheit, 43 to 48 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to between 82 and 84 Fahrenheit, 28, 29 Celsius. In your extended outlook, tomorrow, Wednesday, a mix of sun and clouds with a 20 to 30% chance of showers and afternoon thunderstorms for the northern islands. By Thursday, again, a mix of sun and clouds, mainly for the northern half of the country, partly cloudy for the southern half of the country, elevated rain chances for the northern, northwest, and central islands. By Friday, partly cloudy and a mix of sun and clouds for most areas, still elevated rain chances for the northern half of the country and that pattern will hold into Saturday and even Sunday. The tropics are quiet. Tropical cyclone formation unexpected during the next 7 days. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. Professionals choose Sherwin-Williams for dependable performance and premium finishes. Visit your local Sherwin-Williams store today. $8:25, time for a check of traffic, brought to you by Anyway Insurance, agents and brokers. So we've got a few hot spots for you this morning about Milo Butler Highway as usual. North of the Fire Trail roundabout as you approach the ponds, you're going to see that long line from there straight up to Tonic Williams-Darling Highway in the northbound lanes. And over on Blue Hill Road, also busy for you. We've got some congestion near St. Vincent Road, but also near Carmichael, looking busy there between Carmichael and Soldier Road. And north of that area, both directions, you're going to be seeing heavy traffic, north and southbound. Northbound as you approach Independence Drive and the roundabout there. Over on East Street South, similar story, north and south of Soldier Road, the intersection there, you're going to be seeing that northbound traffic on East Street. Looking busy for you at this hour. Elsewhere, we've got pockets along Prince Charles Drive at the major intersections, especially near Soldier Road, heading into Robinson. It's busy there near Old Trail, straight up to Marathon Road this morning. And Soldier Road looking busy near the intersection with Bernard, Wolf, and Village Roads. Those are your hot spots. That's your real-time traffic. Any Morning Blend traffic alert brought to you by NUA Insurance. With NUA Insurance agents and brokers, online insurance goes beyond payments. You can get an instant car insurance quote, buy a new policy or renew an existing one, pay your premium or access your insurance documents all online. Discover everything a full-service online insurance portal can do at nuainsurance.com.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Try to rest, roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers. For window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it, just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice, it's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the know-how team at 396-1101.
Cool. I just paid my insurance premium online.
That is cool. But how about an insurance portal that does that and more? NUA Insurance agents and brokers gives you access to a full-service insurance portal where you can get an instant quote, renew, pay, and manage your documents. All fully online. With NUA, you have so much more than just a payment portal. You have a complete insurance portal. Start now with an instant quote at nuainsurance.com.
New school year, new gear. From uniforms to laptops, a Fidelity personal loan can help you check every item off of your kid's school list. Jump into back to school season with ease. Apply for a Fidelity personal loan today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Wendy's is spicing things up this summer with the new Jalapeno Ranch Cheeseburger. A hot, juicy beef patty topped with spicy jalapenos, creamy ranch sauce, melted cheese, and fresh toppings for the perfect balance of cool and spicy. Every bite brings bold flavor that keeps more. Turn up the flavor with the new Jalapeno Ranch Cheeseburger at Wendy's today. Available for a limited time only.
At Star General, you can go gold. Comprehensive car insurance covers loss or damage from accidents, fire, theft, and third-party liability package. Gives you increased coverage for rental car and windscreen, personal accident, medical benefits, deductible waiver, and 24-hour roadside assistance where available. Our Star General Gold package also gives you up to $2,500 for accidental damage to a rental car anywhere in the Bahamas. Go gold with Star General. Insurance made simple.
Sherwin-Williams Bahamas doesn't mess about when it comes to product range and product knowledge.
If it's a new product come in the store, we walk the store and study that product.
One thing with our boss, if a new product comes in, he takes the time and he's always keeping us up to date with product knowledge. And we just had 9 weeks of different products that we had to study, and we had exams at the end of each product.
Yeah.
The only way we can sell the product effective, we have to know that product. Yeah, that helps us to relate to our customers. It gives us better knowledge to know what product to introduce to them. You understand? So we can know what product to give them to use and what product not to give them to use. So product knowledge is really key in Sherwin-Williams.
They got the keys. And the key is the product knowledge that comes with our extensive product range at Sherwin-Williams Paints, Bahamas. Find color in every day.
New school year, new gear. From uniforms to laptops, a Fidelity personal loan can help you check every item off of your kid's school list. Jump into back to school season with ease. Apply for a Fidelity personal loan today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Hey, did you ever sort out the car insurance?
I thought you did.
No, I sent it to you.
You sent me the reminder.
Okay, hold on. Okay, done.
Done?
Yeah, renewed, paid.
NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers gives you access to a full-service insurance portal where you can get an instant quote, renew, pay, and manage your documents, all fully online. With NUA, you have a complete insurance portal. Start now with an instant quote at nuainsurance.com.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
From you, like flowers from a tomb, while you decide who you are, and I can see right through, like shadows on the moon. It's all bad news. Yeah, I hate that I made you love me. Sorry if I made me type. Yeah, I hate that.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Duquesa Dean on this Tuesday morning. We're getting your reaction to the Prime Minister's national address on BPL yesterday, giving you an update where things stand, what's working, what's not quite working, what will come on stream soon, hopefully, and overtime. Overtime was a big topic there as well. So we're getting a reaction to that. Call in 323-6232. 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720, because you can text us 422-4796. Got a whole lot of your text messages. We'll get to those in a bit, but let's see if we can take these calls. Good morning, caller. You're live on the air. Hi, good morning. You're live. Hi, good morning. We can hear you.
Yes, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
Who's
Duquesa.
Nothing changed. I think your editorial today kind of captures in the summary. Long talk, poor results, no accountability. Which part from the speech, before I get to some other things, is linguistic contortionism? Statements like the first time in history overstated, that BGC has delivered $130 million upgrade, premature, that BGC is fully Bahamian-led, correct as the management, but incomplete as the ownership, reliability, 45 and 35%. So what I did is I went through each one of those, right? LNG being cleaner, and cheaper and cleaner, generation we own, overtime records demonstrate abuse, the whole El Nino without qualifications from the Bahamas Department of Meteorology or the World Meteorological Organization. Sorry for being so informed, for lack of a better word, in regards to it, because I was silly enough to read the 3,200 pages and all the other agreements, as well as IRCA, and kind of committed to memory. But essentially, it did not answer the questions to the grid. And I hear you and others continuously ask about BGC. BGC is not a complicated issue. BGC is a collaboration between BPL and CFAO. There's 40-60 owners. BPL knows exactly who BGC is and their responsibility. Any questions concerning CFAO could be made at 2.25 or 27010 if I'm correct. And so let's remove them from the point. The point is the responsibility remains with the government of the Bahamas for the energy sector. And we are failing. The one thing I keep asking you about, Dwight, and others on the show, and whenever I get to speak, is concerning the actual strategy and plan for execution for reform of the grid. Here I mentioned up to $1 billion of this and that. I've said, and I asked for reasonable, intelligent contradiction, that we need about $3 to $4 billion to fix the problems where we are. Because you're talking about even BCVI, right? Imagine the young people who go into BCVI must now go back and learn what we did in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s to build the grid, and then ignore what is it that we say we're going to be building today because it's not there. It's, so this is a complex issue in front of us for which the actual economy of the Bahamas relies on, and we're allowing linguistic contortionism, avoidance, and moving around this thing to go on. Not to keep you long, Dwight.
Okay.
Are you there?
Yeah.
There is about 17 absolutely indispensable information we need. And this basically goes towards the different type of analysis that we were to build a 21st century grid to solve this 70-year-old problem that we have.
Okay.
And needs analysis, gap, data, descriptive diagnostic, root cause analysis, cost, financial time, productivity, efficiency, qualitative, predictive, prescriptive, statistical, casual. These are all part of a full thing that you would need, not counting the other tiers of invaluable information
Right.
Unless we get them to give us this in written plan and strategy, you, Dwight, will have to remind your children of what we experienced today, because they will still be trying to experience it if we continuously to patch it. But it will be patched, and the Bahamas economy will be tethered
Okay.
to this sinking Titanic.
Thank you, C. Allen. Appreciate it. Wow. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're live on the air. Hi, caller. Are you there? 323-6232. 325-4259. Call us toll free as well. Text line. This person says here, this is not a commendable address by Brave Davis. This was a PR exercise to placate an angry public, and they were informed from June that this summer was going to be bad. Wow. This person says here, let the BPL people pay for the experienced workers overtime. Maybe they mean BGC, perhaps. Profits bigger. Okay, no. A PR playbook, and amateur one at that, because no one is buying this stuff they're spewing out. Wow. This texter says, I still can't understand why the Prime Minister seeks to totally separate himself and the party from the state of BPL today, saying we inherited. Was he not there in previous administrations? I would like to hear the PM take accountability.
Exactly.
Another person asking, who was the Minister for Works with responsibility for BPL, BEC during 2012, 2017? Yeah, we know who that was. Beaches and parks were overrun by $140 million. NIF $200 million was illegally spent. Well, okay. And complete crickets, but a third of your address was directed to $20 million in BPL overtime. In 1 year of overtime payment management, just discovered this 1 week ago.
That part, though, why did they just know this? Why you just know someone was paid? The whole board and leadership needs to be fired.
Wow. Let's take this call. Caller, good morning. Are you there?
Good morning, Cousin Dwight, and good morning, Nana Duquesa.
Good morning.
How are you all doing this morning?
Doing well. Good morning.
I am so disappointed. I am very highly disappointed in the Prime Minister's speech, a portion of the Prime Minister's speech last night, because it sounds like deja vu. Why do you, Ms. Dean, remember 2013 when Leslie Miller was chairman of the board? Do you all remember that?
It's time.
We do. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It was the exact same thing. Members making too much overtime. They focus on the members. As a matter of fact, when Mr. Miller was in charge of the board, I think they had a full complement of technicians there. Eh? And since then, hello?
Yeah, we're listening to you. Mm-hmm.
Since then, they have cut that number down, must be to a quarter. So then the workload would be much more on the ones that remain. The Prime Minister said it himself 2 weeks ago, that all of the technocrats and stuff, the people that they need to continue to run BPL properly, they going home. So what do they expect? And as a matter of fact, what does overtime have to do with the fact that you got faulty equipment that lacks maintenance? Obviously, overtime comes in after all of that, when the stuff breaks down. Why don't they speak about the special interest people that are raking all the money out of BPL? It is alleged that there's a company in Freeport that borrows the money from NIB to buy the fuel, and then when BPL want to purchase the fuel, they go to NIB and borrow the money to purchase the fuel. Why they don't talk about that?
Quite a... Okay.
Why they don't speak about that?
All right. So what would you have wanted to hear from the Prime Minister last night?
Well, Grammy Boy always say, a promise is a comfort of fool with successive administrations. I really didn't want to hear nothing from him last night, because a promise is a comfort of fool. They've been promising us for almost 60 years. And then what has come to pass?
Okay.
Ain't nothing, right?
Wow. It's bleak. Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Oh, boy.
Oh,
My. Let's take this call. We'll get back to your messages in a bit. Caller, good morning. You're on.
Thanks for taking my call.
Hi.
I really enjoyed the history lesson from 2022 to 2025 with the Prime Minister. I wish he had covered some more of the bases. But I appreciate the fact that he has a conviction to move away from rental generation. That's something we could do without. But what I don't like is how he reference all this stuff we inherited. I inherited certain genes from my mom and my daddy, and there's no way I'm going to blame them if I don't take care of my body and I die at a very young age. There's some things that you would inherit. And I'm wondering, have we also inherited a situation where we can be moving the country's money from one point to the other without any checks and balances? Is this also an inherited policy? Can you tell me about that?
Well, it might be in the DNA that makes you think that you should be able to do whatever. So it's quite possible. Inherit a mentality.
That's what we have done. Okay, I was wondering exactly how I could fix that and understand that in my mind. Would it be a good thing for the Prime Minister to make another address and just explain to saying that money's been going lanes and money's been moving within government systems? Let's account for the money. Has some of that money that went down in the plane, a part of the money that was moved from a fund? We don't know about all of this. So the public just wants to know, close to $1 billion has really been moving, eh?
Yeah.
On the move. Money on the move, Dwight.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. You could get out of that mentality, though. I mean, there's a couple ways.
Really?
Boot camp.
Really?
That's in your life.
Who do you know wants to give up? Who do you in your life?
You want to learn better money management.
Really?
You don't want to learn that?
Corrupt people?
Whoa, who said anything about that? Oh, my God. Okay.
I'm just saying.
What?
I'm just saying, if you get money a particular way, and it's not.
What are you talking about?
It's not like
Who's
the regular way.
Nobody's saying
you're
anything
really
like
gonna
this.
want to change
Where you
that.
going?
It
Where you
may
going
not
with
be
this?
related. It's just like, do you want to learn something different? If you do something a particular way and you benefit, do you really want to change that? Unless, you.
I mean, there could be long-term consequences for what you've done.
Really?
But you need to feel them. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning. How you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
To you and your guests, I want to say a good morning. Right, I just want you to know that Al-Qaeda and the Prime Minister is quite aware of everything that's going on. There's a reason why some names came up with top notch, but I'm going to leave that alone. What I want to say is that the Prime Minister is quite aware of everything that's going on in this country. He was Deputy Prime Minister and doing things that were not right for a long time. And I say that sincerely. Right? But I want to say this, Dwight. They swore to uphold the law. If you and I go in the House of Assembly and move $100,000, we'd go to jail without accountability. Why is it that we can let them get away with it because their name is Prime Minister or Minister of Finance? Answer that for me, please, Dwight. Thank you.
Wow. So more people texting in about, how come other issues like money matters were not mentioned last night, but there was a BPL-focused address, so I guess that will be the excuse. But people, of course, mentioning National Investment Fund and Parks and Beaches and so many other things. Quite a few text messages on those. Caller, good morning. You're live.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Strachan, and good morning to the Crescent.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm speechless. I'm mum. I'm dumb, right? But I don't really want to talk that much, but I just had to call to remind people of something, right? Firstly, GNN did a wonderful juxtaposition in the fact that if something is outdated, you would spend more overtime repairing it. I've worked in engineering in the plant room, so I know the older something is, the more you have to keep it up, maintained, right? And so the question for me is, could someone tell me what it costs to rent generators and who has the interest in it? Because it seems to me this pathway of failure is something that they desire, all right? But I'll just leave at this because I'm kind of angry and vexed about something that's called operant conditioning that I've been trying to get you guys to really go down to operant conditioning and learn helplessness. Somebody's on the show talking about why the young people don't vote and it's not apathy or whatever, but it's actually something called learned helplessness in which you feel as if nothing will change. And so that's what they want you to believe. And so if they're not going to make the changes, then remember, the question, you ready for this big joke? You know, it's a legacy debt. The legacy debt to me and your children. Keep that here.
All right, thank you. Yes, caller, good morning, you're live.
Dwight. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Morning.
You know, I've been listening to the talk shows for a couple of weeks now, and especially when this thing started with EPL, the power. And Dwight, I commend you for letting the public know that we don't have that much outages inside the East anymore. And I am a witness to one of them. And when the power went off island-wide, I think one of ours was the first one that came back on. Now, we did suffer some on and off period, but that basically stopped. I don't have to go on the beach. I could stay right home and use my air condition. To me, that's an upgrade. And I feel that more people in the East need more people that is not dealing with the outages like that should call the talk shows and let people know it's not that bad the way some people is making it up now.
Well, I mean, it's not bad for the people in the East.
But it's bad.
But it's really awful out west.
I do sympathize with those who are going through it right now. But like you said, Dwight, we had a time with that in the East.
Yes.
Okay? We did have a time with that in the East.
And things have improved.
Now, it's progress. It's moving. It's not moving as fast as everybody was there. But then, what I like the Prime Minister's speech last night is that he outlined what the people them saying they wanted. They wanted information on what's going on and the timeline and how long this is going to be doing. And he gave that. That's what you wanted. That's Dwight. This is why I'm saying I call the talk show something. I say I don't see where the freedom of information will be honored that much, because when people see the truth is not leaning on their side, they're going to find a next excuse. We are getting information. What are we going to do with that information? Are we going to criticize? We're going to come with a next complaint and oversee that one and try to steer people in thinking a different way. Now, I did call the talk show one time, and I did mention the Prime Minister did say that he was trying to get us out of renting generators on the Family Island. And he came back and he tested this again, that he wants to get out of that era. He wants to get out of that. He urges us, saying that nobody else wanted to bite the bullet and deal with it. This is a big thing in our Bahamas. This power stuff is concerning investors. If an investor wants to come to this country and see what their power bill is going to be looking at, it's going to be a detour. He's trying to deal with, and if Bahamians could open up a business knowing that their power bill is going to be down, more Bahamian businesses is going to be open up. This how this power is going to change our life in the near future. And what we need to be doing, like those in the United States when they were dealing with World War I or World War II, everybody contribute to it. Whether it's picking up foil paper on the side that the government could use, or saving metals that it could be downgraded for war weapons or whatever the case may be. The Bahamian people need to be asking ourselves. Now the Prime Minister has given us this speech and given us this knowledge. What are we going to do with it? How are we going to help? Not pull down, not criticize because the information is not valuing us. Yes, he said some stuff, and he opened up the door and saying this what was going on in the past. Yes, and he's not refuting it because he said past government, and he was a part of the past government, but he wasn't the leader to make the decision. He is taking up upon himself to get criticized. He's given us the information, and he says the buck stopped with me, and I'm going to deal with this. So how are we going to support our government going forward without the criticism? Now, I do know criticism, constructive criticism is good, but let's leave it at that constructive criticism and say to yourself, how are we going to benefit in the future, and what could we do to help? Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the call. Interesting perspectives.
Very interesting.
Let's take this call before we get back to your text messages. A whole lot coming in. Good morning. Caller, you're live.
Good morning, Dwight. Just wanted to respond to that beautiful customer who just say, powers be off in the East. My boss was off for 37 hours straight last week.
Okay,
and I live in the East.
Okay, so he didn't say it doesn't go off. He says it just is much reduced compared to what it used to be. But which area are you in specifically?
off Village Road.
Okay, so you see now, when we say east, we ain't talking about that.
Palm Key, eh?
No, we're talking about east of Fox Hill. It's been right. So yeah, Village Road, no.
I used to know.
Right. So I'm sorry to hear that, though. Oh my gosh, that sounds terrible.
37 hours.
This is around Blair or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
You
terrible.
know what the BPL worker said to us while they were digging the hole? He said, "We're lucky that they came because BGC can't find folks."
Well, this is the thing. BGC to talk more. I heard what C. Allen said, but no. They need to explain themselves. Just how bad is it when it comes to your manpower, and how reliant are you going to be on BPL? The Prime Minister admitted it. They are, well, that's what's been happening, and that's accounted for some of the overtime, I'm sure. But how bad is it going before you can be self-reliant?
Yeah, but those salaries...
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Those salaries should be transferred.
Make them pay for it.
Right. They should be. So whatever those hours are, whatever, whoever's doing the accounting or whatever, if that is the role that BG is supposed to be dealing with, then those salaries, that expense should be channeled to them. Reimburse us or pay these people.
Perfectly reasonable.
No, but that's what should happen.
But that's why it's not going to happen, because that's what should happen.
Oh, my God.
And that's what you would do if you're running a company. That's what I would do. But this ain't what we're dealing with. And but that sounds quite reasonable.
Oh, my gosh. Right. They would be those billable hours for that period of time for that work.
Bet you there's something in those 3,000 pages that specifically says that can't happen. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir.
Hi.
To you and your guest. The gentleman before that last caller you had, he got to be out of his mind. These PLP operatives and F&M operatives need to understand we are behemoths and we deserve better than what has been going on in this country for too long. I live in Westbridge, and every 3 to 2 days power off and be off for 6 and 8 hours, and nobody's saying nothing.
No. Everyone's saying...
The Prime Minister.
Okay. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's talking about it, but he's saying how things have improved in Eastern New Providence.
These people should have known that from the break. Every government that comes in need to leave BC alone and give the people the money that they need to build the country and stop putting the money in a trust fund, destroying the country. They know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
The Bay Street boys them would have the country the way it is right now. They need to stop it. Only them was feeding and eating everything of this land, and nobody else supposed to live better than them. They got to tell the truth.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. You're talking about two different things, though, and this is the thing. No, people need to listen. So everyone is talking about the power outages in Western New Providence. Everybody is. But at the same time, things have improved slowly for folks on the eastern end of the island.
Yes.
When we were going off multiple times a week, y'all were like, "Oh, my AC's on. I'm fine."
However, Dwight.
He wasn't trying to create a narrative about something that doesn't exist.
I do feel that he kind of minimized what people out west are currently feeling because they're no longer, you guys are no longer feeling it like that in the east. So now it's the west time. Just suck it up or whatever. Improvement in the east is great. However, instability in the west is horrible. And I mean, the two things can be correct at the same time.
Both are
at the same time. Like, you remember what it felt like in the east when you were being plagued. And so should someone else be okay that it's their turn to feel that way? Absolutely not.
And everybody who's undergoing frequent outages has the right to be angry. They have the right to be angry. And of course, hearing him talk like that will not be an easy pill to swallow.
Seriously.
And that's why earlier when I said it, I was being very cautious and saying, and I know I'm about to jinx myself because but you have to be honest. Things have improved, and hopefully that will be what everybody on New Providence will experience, and hopefully everybody in the rest of the country, right? They're going to call and say, "Oh, you're being so positive again," and not. But this is what can we do? You're going to just be all negative every day of your life? It's just going to be horrible forever?
But we did ask the PM to speak. We
And
did
we
say,
did call for that.
tell us what's happening.
We need to hear
tell
from
us,
somebody. We just said
tell
that
us
last
what's
week.
going on. And let's just be real. He did that. He came with something. Right? So, yes, he answered a call that people said, hey, we need to know exactly what's going on.
People wanted that 2 weeks ago.
Right. And my position is I wanted that from April.
say-
I wanted that from March. I wanted
Right.
that of like, hey, this is what our situation is,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or even as a part of the what you call it when they trying to get back in campaigning, it could be, listen, this is the state we in, but this our plan. Still been a positive twist on that, Dwight, to say, well, this we working on these things. This is what we want to improve. You might experience this, but hey, this is what's gonna happen.
Yikes.
It would work.
I don't know.
Transparency and honesty. There are people that still value that.
We're telling people, hey, things are okay now in late April.
Yeah.
But in a couple months,
Yeah,
you're
it's
going to
gonna
be
be
very
difficult.
angry. But we'll get through it together. So
Absolutely.
vote me back in.
Vote me back in
and
because
we'll
we're
be
working
good.
on a
We'll be
plan.
good.
This is what we've
Sure.
done, and this is what's going to continue if we get back in. It's 40 years of this old grid, and we're trying to replace it bit by bit. It's going to be uncomfortable, but together we can get.
Oh, no.
Yes. Yes, Dwight. Yes. That would be
Have you ever run a
attractive to
campaign
some
before?
people.
You ever run a political campaign?
Not a political campaign.
I think it's quite obvious.
And obviously, I want honesty.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
I mean, the whole rally would go quiet. Everyone would be like,
No,
what?
I believe people will go crazy. They'll
No,
be
they
like,
won't.
yeah, we have an honest government. We have people telling us the truth. People will value that. Anyone will value that. Don't leave me there by myself.
We'll take a couple more calls before we have to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Caller, good morning. Are you there?
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, let me move away from the lawn. I agree with that last caller. Regarding the caller he alluded to, I think that's one is singing for his supper. But let me tell you something. They announced yesterday that the Prime Minister's speech will be coming on at a certain time. And you know, I live in the South, okay? The southern area, all of Pinewood, all of South Beach, everything, 5 minutes past 6, the light gone off, okay? You know when the light came back on? After if you didn't have like a little portable radio or something like that, you didn't hear that speech.
Wow.
The light came on about right after the Prime Minister's speech. About 15 minutes later.
My goodness.
15, 20 minutes later, the light came on. I found it peculiar.
Yeah.
Okay? And maybe they were right. They didn't want to hear it. Okay? And you got people around here, they're singing for their supper. They know they don't believe some things what they say, but you're singing for your supper. And let me tell you something here, it's going to backfire on you later. That's all I can say. Good day.
Okay. Wow. Well, yours was off for a little while. Some people went off at 8:32, 8:33, just as the Prime Minister started, and came back on 9:15, or just before, as he was saying good night, which was really bizarre.
God bless the Commonwealth.
Right. That's what you heard. This person said the same thing. I had to replay the Prime Minister's address. Sadly, 2 minutes after his address started last night, my power in Carmichael went off. That was disgraceful. As I texted you yesterday, the Prime Minister's main excuse was the F&M. He used terms as we invented many years across administrations and several decades. In other words, the Prime Minister didn't bring confidence in the situation, but just shared the blame.
They got to move away
Well.
from that blame thing, though. We inherited.
No.
That's sickening.
Wow. This texter says, too many excuses. Please, no more speeches until the power is totally fixed. Oh, boy.
That'll be never.
Dwight, I don't know about you, but I'm so tired of the government who inherited their own problems from their last term without a pandemic, natural disasters, etc. It's a speech with a unique plan for, and to avoid relevant questions from the press that need sensible answers. Did anyone ever get charged for burning down Bamsey? The speech yesterday was nothing but a muppet. And they're saying some other things I can't say on the air. Okay. Wow. Instead of the Prime Minister worrying about overtime, why didn't he tell us who owns, who are the beneficial owners, I guess, in BGC, who all has bought shares, I guess. I'm sorry, looking at the way they run the rest of the country with overruns and no accountability, the government is incapable of executing half of that drivel that was espoused last night. Wow. Not many people confident that things are going to improve.
And that's my whole point. Summer 2027 is coming. You say all these things that y'all going to do. Are we going to be in the same state a year from now?
This texter says here, I'm joining the conversation late. BPL cut off my light when the Prime Minister started his address, so I wasn't able to watch it. Did he make any sense whatsoever? Oh, boy. Did he just find out that they had inherited this antique equipment they were in the last 5 years? Why didn't they start fixing the situation then instead of traveling? Okay. Oh, what a tangled web we will practice to deceive. The Prime Minister, the Minister, and the board of BPL need to go home. His presentation was lackluster and full of promises. Now the text here, Prime Minister Davis doesn't want to rent the generators if they are renting offices. Oh, boy. This person says, if that caller is lost, I wonder how much he's getting paid to come on the radio to spew nonsense. Again, is it nonsense?
It's his perspective.
Yeah, it's his perspective.
Maybe.
But I'm telling you, lots of different things are happening on this little island. And many people are, even not the big blackout, but that one before that damaged our tower. A lot of people were still on. Most of the island was off. But a lot of people were off, and the next day they're like, what? There was a blackout?
Right.
I'm like, okay. So strange things happen. We'll take one more call, then we got to go to the break for news. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight, and good morning to your guest.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, did I hear probably that the Prime Minister said that they pay for the transformers and the poles?
I don't recall that, but that was part of the Bahamas grid with the upgrades. They did a lot of that work.
Oh, because I was confused because I know persons who claim that they had to pay for a transformer or pole if they build in a certain area and they needed new transformers or poles. They would be charged for it.
Oh, well, that's quite possible. Yeah. But what's your concern?
No, I just was trying to figure out if it was something that was said where they said the government was paying for it, because I thought I heard someone say they said they were paying for it, so it was just confusing.
I think he's talking about all over the place. Lots of poles were replaced. The wooden poles were replaced with the metal ones, so that was a lot of money, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, understood. All right, I was just concerned about that.
But you're talking about new subdivisions, new developments.
Yeah.
You probably do have to.
Yeah, you have to pay.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Right, thank you.
I mean, there's no doubt. You can look around and see that quite a bit of work was done. Yeah. Right?
Just not enough.
So, again, what is the issue? Is it the generation or is it the transmission and distribution? With all that work having been done, what's been causing the problems? And every day it seems like is it BGC? Is it BPL?
We won't
Is
know.
it both? They're all the same? Are they not? Anyway.
Confusion exists for a reason.
Well, as C. Allen said, hey, it's all the government, and they have to take responsibility no matter what.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break for news. When we come back, our Chamber Hour series, we're going to be talking with the chair of the Chamber this morning. We'll talk about the Prime Minister's speech and more. We'll take this into that hour when we get back. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
The power goes out, and suddenly everything stops. No fan, no AC, no cold drinks, no comfort. But it doesn't have to be that way. With 100% financing on generators and solar panels, Bank of the Bahamas will help you keep your home powered and your family comfortable. So don't sweat the next outage. Visit bankbahamas.com today and get the solution you need now. Stay powered with B.O.B., your bank of solutions.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Shop early to get your uniforms and get Janae's Uniform Center's buy 4 get 1 free sale. Pre-monogrammed and regular school shirts, dry fit and cotton polos, jumpers, skirts, boys long and short pants, PE shorts, underclothes, tights, socks, neckties, belts, sleeping mats, hair accessories, and character work desk. Get 50% off backpacks, lunch bags, and raincoats. Buy 4 school shirts, get 1 free. Buy 2 skirts, jumpers, get the third 50% off. Need embroidery and monogramming done? Visit Janae's Uniform Center early. Beat the back-to-school rush. Janae's Chesapeake Road back-to-school special. Restrictions apply.
Get your dream home with a mortgage from CIBC Caribbean. Enjoy up to 95% financing and up to 35 benefits and bonuses. Ready to move into your own home? Visit CIBCCaribbean.com/home ownership to see the documents required for your mortgage application and get the information you need to start your home ownership journey. Unlock your dream home today with CIBC Caribbean. Ambitions made real. Terms and conditions apply.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
When you are planning for your family, every decision matters. A home can bring comfort, stability, and long-term value for the people who depend on you most. With up to 95% mortgage financing from CIBC Caribbean, eligible clients can explore a practical path to home ownership with clear information and trusted guidance. Build your family's future with confidence. Visit CIBCCaribbean.com/home ownership for more information. Conditions apply.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Hey folks, thanks for your patience. We'll be taking off very shortly. You should be wheels up in about 40 minutes. And due to a bumpy ride, snacks and beverage service has been suspended. AC is giving us some trouble, sorry folks. And Wi-Fi is out. And so is the entertainment. Yeah, I'm sorry about the smell, folks. We are aware.
I know.
Just one more quick note. We are going to have to deplane.
Come on! We're like the plane ride that isn't a nightmare. CG Atlantic Agents and Brokers. Good like that.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, August 18th, 2026. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Duquesa Dean. And this morning it is time for a monthly Chamber Hour series with the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation. And this morning we are very happy to have with us in studio Chairman Don Williams. Good to see you. Good to have you.
Good morning, Dwight. Morning, Duquesa. Good morning, Bahamas.
All right, so this morning we got a lot to talk about, but also the Prime Minister's address last night. BPL, we know this has been impacting businesses across the country, especially here in New Providence. Lots of concerns about where we are right now and where we're going. But I want to get your reaction to the national address last night.
It was a bit of expectation.
Talk right into that mic there for us. There we go.
There you go. So it was a bit of expectation. We did expect, and in front of the business community, we did expect some level of accountability. Now, we would have preferred the warnings to be more prepared a lot earlier, obviously. As well as one thing that we find that was missing is what are we doing now to assist those businesses that are going through this? We don't expect the power to be on 100% of the time, and I'm taking that from a comment from PPL. But at the same time, we don't expect it to be out
that's really sad, though, right?
Yeah.
And we don't expect it to be out for 12 hours, for 24 hours, without there being some form of natural disaster. So businesses are not able to properly prepare. And as a result, they suffered many losses. And it's not just the small businesses. A lot of the larger businesses, they've had to. So, for example, a pharmacy out west, I'm not going to call any names, but in order for them to keep up and running, they had to not allow customers in, take prescriptions at the door, and call customers back.
Yeah. Well, you remember a few weeks ago, the largest supermarket chain had to tell everyone to leave.
Exactly.
So that's crazy.
It's not as simple as many think for a business to get a generator, invest in solar. That's also an additional cost.
That's a cost.
And from the Chamber's end, and I would hope that not just the government, but the Bahamas understands this, that businesses have done a really great job in trying to keep the costs as low as possible without increasing prices to the consumers. And, that goes along with how we at the Chamber, we always like to say, listen, shop local, support local as much as possible. Yes, you want to go on Amazon, you travel, you want to bring back the suitcase with everything in it, but still stop to that mom and pop shop. Still support the businesses that are there because that helps to keep the economy running as fast as possible.
All right, so tell us more about what you wanted to hear. What incentives or what could have been done or what...
So when you're looking at incentives to businesses, whether it is a break on taxes, whether it is a break on certain imports, something that allows them to say, look, I may have lost some products over here, but now I get the opportunity to re-up my inventory. Or global unrest we're still experiencing it in terms of the fuel prices. Everyone feels it at the pump every week. How are we now making certain concessions, especially for those businesses that have delivery? So in the paper just recently, they spoke to, and I believe it was Guardian, that spoke to a water producer. Delivery is heavy, right? But now, do we really want to pay $7 for a 5-gallon bottle of water?
Wow.
Right.
So how can we build in some of those concessions? And it doesn't have to be permanent. While we're going through this transition, we accept that there are some 20-plus renewable energy projects that are running around the country, from the Family Islands, Nassau. The infrastructure is being upgraded. We've seen it. We understand that. But during this transition period, what concessions can businesses have that will allow them to get through this transition? And then once everything is up and running, once the power grid is working properly, once we're able to generate the amount of power that is required for our country and obviously have a little bit of surplus, then we can go back to business as normal.
Right.
Have you been having these conversations with anyone in the government?
So we've been liaising with the government on and off. One of the things that I'm actually going to try to do this week, especially after the PM's address yesterday, is how can we now sit down and put one or two of those in place? What can the government now say? Listen, we understand that you're sacrificing. What can now we sacrifice and we can meet in the middle? I think more so I know in terms of government, everyone wants to bash the government. From the chamber's end, we don't like to be political at all. For us, it's solutions driven. We're talking from a business standpoint, and let's find a solution now.
I mean, last week in the news, I think there was one business that spoke to helping the government ease the burden on the grid by running their generators for their business. And is that something that a business should have to bear the cost of? Because generation of electricity isn't free with a generator. There are multiple costs associated with that. So when you hear a business say, hey, we've had to run our generators to support the government, like what sort of response or thoughts do you have in that?
It leads me back to the comments, which greatly concerned, obviously, us as a chamber and the business community as large, is that, you're now reaching out to us. We need to go on the beach. No. We as the business community have been supporting forever, essentially, in the country. So when you talk about the businesses that are now making sure that they're using their generators, they're not sending their staff home for the day, but they're making sure to try to keep the operation going, not just for them, but it's also for the community that they're in. What we don't understand is some of these businesses, if they close, there is a community that's actually now disenfranchised. Imagine if, and we'll go back. I'll pick on Super Value. Imagine if Super Value decides that, look, we're going to close, but because they're obviously the largest retailer for grocery in that specific community, what's going to now happen? The mom and pop shops can't keep up because a lot of them cannot afford to have a generator to run to support. So now you have individuals that if I need support for my family, groceries, etc., I have to go outside. And it's not just the households. You have to look at the other businesses, the restaurants that, I need some extra supplies. I'm going there. I'm not going to wait to put in a request for one of the large distributors to now come and make a delivery for me tomorrow. No. And that's how it's supposed to work in our country, where local businesses are supporting one another as well as the community is supporting those businesses. The business community want to depend on the government. Give us the necessary infrastructure, and we will do the remainder of the work. And I think it is prudent to always remember that the business community steps up and does so much. I will come off of power. The young lady that's missing, Island Luck just said that they are putting up $50,000 in to help of any information. So the business community is constantly doing, and we need to take that into consideration. And sometimes we depend on the government to give back, no matter who's in power.
All right, so Donald, you said it, that so far the business community has tried not to put any of this on the public, on consumers, but you all are talking about it. Costs, if you're running your generator often, it means it's going to cost you a lot more. It's only a matter of time before you have to get some money for this somehow, some way. So are we looking at prices going up as a result of this energy crisis that we're seeing here?
I can foresee in the near future, if we're not getting some form of relief, then eventually you will start to see the prices go up. And you've seen it in certain areas. So your airline ticket, we as Bahamians, we love to travel. And summer vacation, the kids are looking forward to it. Businesses need to bring in goods all the time. So whether that's by air or by sea, that cost has significantly gone up already. So now you're going to start to see, it's only a matter of time before businesses now have to transfer the increase in fuel to the consumer. All right. Now, bit by bit, obviously, we encourage them bit by bit. So you don't want to double your prices. You want to be as competitive as possible while still making sure that you provide the best level of customer service and obviously a product. And then we're trying, as a chamber, we're trying some new avenues. So, in fact, I can't get into details yet, but so we have a meeting with the U.S. Embassy later on today. So we're going to try to find some different ways that we can get a lot of the products, goods, and services to be exported as much as possible, so that now we have not just the local market, but more of a global market and reach.
Okay, I want to come back to that in a bit because I have some questions about that. But this is, again, the fuel in addition to using more because you're running generators more, but also the what's happening with Iran and the global prices are fluctuating so much. So, I mean, this is just a perfect storm.
Yeah.
An inflation bubble, I'd like to call it. But we need to make sure that the bubble doesn't grow to a certain degree that when it pops, we're the ones that are taking the brunt of it.
Yeah.
Have you been hearing from your businesses? Like, I've seen some residents say that they've had to throw out like freezer full of food or whatever because they don't want to take the risk of making their families ill. When you think about businesses like restaurants and other small stores that may not have generators, and the impact that it might have on the community itself outside of dollars, like illness. Are there any thoughts or procedures that have been shared or thought about for safety of the community during this time?
Interestingly enough, a lot of businesses, they haven't said that, I'm speaking for some of our members, they haven't said that they did it for the health reasons. Funny enough, we understand a lot of these businesses already have these standards built in. The restaurants, etc., they have these already built in. But what they've had to do is, because of the power outages, sometimes it's not even just the prolonged outage. Sometimes it's because of the outage. Now we have a surge, so now our freezers are just no longer working.
Oh, wow.
So now we have to make an investment in new equipment. We have a loss of inventory. Thankfully, I've seen a lot of businesses that have gotten together and collaborated. Look, we have a generator next door. We'll assist as fast as possible because you're not our competitor, you're my neighbor.
Right.
But that's constantly happening, and that is actually a great question in terms of what businesses are doing to ensure that we're keeping up with the health standards. And as I can confidently say, we haven't heard about any issues. So that means I could say confidently the business community has been, hey.
Okay.
Thank God, right?
Yeah.
Wow. All right, so along the lines of what you just asked there, when the equipment fails for business, do you go through as much red tape and as the members of the public do?
Yes,
trying to get that money back.
We do. We go through the same red tape in a lot of cases. I'll take my business for example. We've had the issue before, and when we weighed the cost of going through the process, and if BBL's listening, we need to
and the time.
When it comes to replacing equipment, depending on the cost, we just replace it because the process takes too long. And then you have to understand as well, you're not going to get, let's say you're in media and your TV, your monitors go out. The TV may have cost you $1,000, right? You're not getting $1,000 back. You may get $200, if that. Please don't quote me. So it's really weighing the pros and cons and then understanding that what approach do you want to take. For some, it's beneficial. For the others, we don't have the time. So we just have to proceed.
Wow, that's interesting.
Is there an understanding, like a timeline, like a breaking point for businesses here? Like we could maybe do one more month of blackouts like this, or till the end of the year, but after that, we just can't do it anymore? What are you hearing?
It all depends on the size. So we have businesses that are actually at their wits' end.
Wow.
They're at the point where, look, I'm now reevaluating. I'm now, look, I don't need a storefront right now. I have to go back and do more home base. There are others that are still pushing through, so I can still wear a brunt. I've put certain concessions in place, so whether that is I'm only open for a certain amount of days, or I ensure that I'm spending the additional fuel costs, like the Questa said, to run my generator. The larger businesses, obviously, they have a little bit more resources, a little bit more longevity in the market, so they can take a little bit more. But the long story short is that bubble. Like, how much more time do we have? And that's one of the things that we were hoping that we would hear.
Right.
Yes, we love the fact that we want to get away from renting all the generators, but what is the exact time frame? that do we have another month at this? Do we have another 6 months? In terms of the timeline of the projects, 23, I think it said 23 renewable energy projects that are happening. So give us the timelines like you gave us at the airports.
Right.
And we can now make informed decisions.
We can monitor.
Exactly.
Exactly. We can monitor as well.
Yeah.
You know, I started to giggle was because my mind went to the comment from the gentleman who said just go to the beach, and businesses can't just close and let their employees go to the beach, or the owners go to the beach, because when you run a business, that's, if you are an owner of a business all day, every day, a part of your concern is making sure that you have what's necessary for your overhead, to pay your staff, to pay your rent, to pay all these different things. So apart from the stress of, okay, I'm losing inventory or my store is closed, so I can't have customers, you also have the stress and the burden of making sure that these people still get paid at the end of the week, because it's not their fault that your electricity is on. You still have you can't say BPL wasn't on, so I'm not paying you, right? So what could the government do, like in situations like that, to help supplement during those times, apart from like a fuel reduction, or is there any ways that you feel the government can support the business communities in those particular scenarios more?
And even some cases, I mean, when you already say we're going to give the concessions on fuel, we're going to give you concessions on like imports, et cetera, I mean, some of the other ways the government could assist, and this might be an unpopular opinion. I love giving unpopular opinions on this show. But in terms of even down to some of the projects that the government have going on, while they may have already been assigned, is there particular additions that can be added to projects that, obviously a lot of the smaller businesses, the larger businesses wouldn't be eligible, but a lot of the smaller businesses can now work alongside the government in terms of helping speed up a project. Right. But now that allows those funds to circulate throughout the community. Right, keep the business up and running, keep that community going. Businesses will be appreciative of it, because obviously now it keeps that level of cohesion that we want.
Yeah.
Revenue.
Wow.
Yes.
We are talking with the chair of the Chamber of Commerce, the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation, Don Williams. This is 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Caller, good morning. You're live on the air. Hi, are you there? Call us back. All right, so I know you said having a meeting later, you said, but I have to ask, the tariffs, the uncertainty about the tariffs that the U.S. has put on other countries and with the exports, any impact from that as yet? And are you going to be trying to negotiate on that later? Is that a possibility? What can you tell us?
So we've been in constant communication in terms of the tariffs, and that is probably something that we're going to bring up again today in conversation. But in terms of the fallout from it, we haven't seen a significant fallout from it. I can say that what I've seen is a lot of the exports that we do for the Bahamas are considered luxury goods. So generally, because I'm sure that there are a few businesses that are experiencing the issues with the 2%. 2% sounds like a small amount, but when you're thinking about competing globally, 2% is a lot. But
2% higher.
2% higher.
Right.
Right. But because a lot of our items are considered luxury goods, many individuals, stateside, have the ability to afford the increase. But now we have to be concerned of, yes, I can afford it, but I can afford it in which quantity. I used to take a pilot. Now I need to take 3/4, or I need to take half. And, eventually, once again, that has a trickle-down effect. So we're constantly working on that, and we're constantly working on other avenues as to how we can get additional support from obviously the embassy, and then to give businesses opportunities, new business opportunities, new industries opportunities, because we are I don't care what anyone says, the Bahamas is the best in the world. We have the most creative people, not just as a people in culture, but also in business. So how can we get that to the world as best as possible?
Does it seem like there's any willingness or openness to adjusting that, or in any way? Is it set in stone, or what are we looking at?
No, there's a lot of openness to adjust it. I know that from our last conversation, there are some steps that we need to take, and we need to fine-tune those steps so that we can actually get the reduction. So there is willingness. It hasn't been, from our communications, it hasn't been set in stone that it's 12% and it's going to remain 12%.
Right.
So we're going to continue that dialogue and see how we can get that down. My goal is, I always like to be overly ambitious, is to see how we can get it lower than the 10% that it was.
Okay. All right. Let's take this call. Caller, good morning. You're live.
Good morning, Mr. Strachan. Thanks for taking my call. Good morning to the question. Good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
Yeah, I was just stumped just now for a second there when your guest said that the Bahamas is the best country in the world and there were different things. I was just trying to look to my mind to figure out where in the world could he have come to that conclusion from. But anyhow, my question was this. I'm confused, right? I mean, maybe I'm missing something. You might be able to help me with this. What I want to know is this. When there is need to improve the system from now going forward, right? Like when they need to purchase generators or transformers or poles or wires, whatever they need to purchase for the system, are we the people going to be responsible for purchasing those things? I have a reason for asking that question.
I mean, what do you mean? You're talking about BPL, right?
Yeah, because what I'm saying is that I heard Mr. Lang. Mr. Lang was on a few days ago, about a week or two, and he was talking about how the electrical company is basically privatized, right? And how that the BPL is just basically acting as a broker, right, to collect funds from us to pay other people, right? So I'm trying to figure out, right, if we are not involved in the in the revenue generating part, if the revenue generating portion of BPL is being taken away from us, right? And if all we are doing is paying BPL so BPL can pay other people, right? Then, why are we still responsible, if we are, for purchasing equipment to keep the system going that pays other people? If it's privatized, why the money collecting part of those things, why aren't they the ones purchasing the necessary equipment they need to keep their system going so that they can be paid? I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. You know what I mean? Because it seems as if
they're using the money that they get to buy whatever they need. I mean, you don't.
No, you don't understand what I'm saying, Dwight?
Well,
what I'm saying is that if I used to own something, right, and now you own it, right? Why I can't I still own it? Why am I okay? If I have a car, right, and I sell you the car.
Okay,
right,
so the answers are all in the 3,000-page document, and that is.
You understand the question I'm asking?
No, not really. Yeah, the money that you spend, that you pay for your bills, will be going over to them, and they're going to buy whatever they need.
No,
and,
listen, I heard the reason why I'd asked the question, Dwight, is because I think there was talk about some borrowing some money to go and facilitate necessary work at the corporation. Borrowing money that we, the taxpayers, are going to have to pay back. So I'm trying to figure out where is the sense in all of that. Do you understand now? If I sell you a car, Dwight, if I sell you something that used to be mine, why do I have to go borrow money
but it's not like that.
To maintain your car?
It's not comparable. This is not how this works. Don Williams, you want to get any of this?
It's comparable to the sense, why should I continue to do what I was doing prior to selling you the car?
Is your concern the borrowing?
We'll continue to do what we were doing
or the
prior
control
to privatizing the entity. I mean, like I said before, I may be lost here, but I don't feel as if we should be responsible to the point where we borrow money, right?
Can I just ask?
The system.
Can I just clarify, please? Are you asking if you get sold off a portion of BPL or whatever, the BG, what their name?
BGC.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Then why are you still funding who you sold it to? Is that your question?
Yeah, my question is, okay, you know how they said that they sourced out the revenue-generating portions of BPL, right? You understand? They sourced out those portions of it. Like I said, Mr. Lang said that BPL is basically privatized.
Okay.
Mr. Lang said this.
Okay, but again,
my thing is this: if an entity is now privatized, right, and if we used to borrow money before it was privatized to upgrade it and do stuff, right? Why, after it's privatized, do we still borrow money to upgrade the same thing that we privatized to someone else already? Do you understand the question now?
So it's not solely owned by the government.
No, like I said, Mr. Lang, you're
Okay, but you got to stop saying that too. I mean, I think this is the perception that it is. It may not necessarily be the case, but that's perception. You're asking, this is not a normal deal, right? Again, this is a 3,000 plus deal. You need to read that if you can. But it's not a normal deal. We are still wondering as a public whether we got the raw end of the stick.
I think to the caller's point, he's taking it from the view of BPL has now just been 100% privatized, or the government maybe owns 10%, so there are no decision making. So I believe, if I'm understanding the caller, the private entity that took over majority control should be the one responsible for footing the bill. Right. I'm assuming that's what the caller was trying to say.
That's what I was trying to get to. Like, is that what you're...
Again, this is not a normal deal.
Right.
A normal deal. Remember now, no matter what, no matter how much money BPL takes in, they will owe BGC each month a certain amount, whether we decide to pay the bill or not. And they're going to use whatever monies we get to do whatever they have to do. And if they need to borrow, they're still going to do it, and you're still going to be responsible for it. So, yes, it's not right or fair, but that's the deal. And this is why there's a lot of head-scratching going on in the world.
Time will tell.
So we get your point. It doesn't sound like sense, but that is the deal.
That's the deal.
And it's much more nuanced and complicated than that. But to put it simply...
I think what the frustration he experiences is what most businesses experience, where I like to coin it, where non-business people are making business decisions, and now we now have to bear the brunt of those decisions and how it affects the way that the country and economy is run.
And the layman would never make a deal like this for their business or life, right? And yet... it's just hard to wrap your mind around it. And we get your frustration. It would be good to talk to somebody from BGC or BPL about it and why and how does this really benefit any of us. But as you said, we're told that it will get better, and I guess it will make sense.
I wonder if we could get BGC and BPL on the show together, and we just have an all morning conversation.
We might be able to get BPL, but I don't know about BGC. We'll see. But I understand your frustration, and it is weird. It is weird. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
A pleasant good morning, Mr. Dwight. How are you doing today?
Hi, good morning.
That's the gentleman from the Chamber of Commerce?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to ask him two questions. One is, one time ago, when I know a lot of people go through this. One time ago, when we go into food stores and hardware stores, they normally had clerks on the stores that price things and put them on the counter. So when you go there, you just pick it up. You know what the can of honey costs. Nowadays, nobody is there to help you. There's no price. You got to either go to the scanner or wait till you reach to the cashier to find out if you could buy it or put it back. The people, the clerks, they be walking around talking with one another, and you got to run them down. Can I get some service here, please? That doesn't seem to happen. Another thing, when you come for the disabled, and this has happened to me because I have a disabled sticker in my van. Hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
I have a disabled sticker in my van. Yesterday I went to a place on Blue Road to buy some parts for my car and stuff. There's 4 big blue signs in disabled. In the front of disabled, there's 4 big yellow cones. Now, the security guard is inside, so I got to get out, get my wheelchair, move the cone, get back in my car, and I asked the security, why don't you call a wrecker if somebody without a disabled sticker move. He tells me that the store owners tell them, don't call the wrecker. I say, but that's breaking the law because there's the disabled sign and the car park there where I'm supposed to park is in my spot.
So I want to take bit by bit. So in terms of the labeling of the goods in the stores, yes, a lot of businesses have gone away from individually labeling each item. Obviously, there's a cost to that, and in terms of digitization, a lot of it has become easier where you can just go to the end of the aisle, put the item up, and that's if you don't see. I know a lot of businesses now, they have a little signage right in front of the item, so you know on the shelf what the cost is. Now, in some cases, I'm sure that the sign may have broken, it may have fallen off, the price may have changed. But it's up to that business to ensure that they're doing their necessary due diligence and, address any customer service issues. What I would recommend is if you go back to that store at any point in time, which I hope you do, still support the store, have an opportunity to speak to one of the supervisors or the managers and bring the concern up because they may not be aware that they may have an issue with one or two of the clerks. Now, in respect to the disability, we actually take disability quite seriously, and we know that there needs to be a lot more focus on it as well. Because yes, you see individuals from time to time, because they can't find parking or parking is all the way at the end of the parking lot. You have two good legs. Please use them. So we don't encourage people to use the disability parking. Now there needs to be a lot more reinforcement around that. So if the business is not taking necessary steps, I would say that you can actually call any one of the associations and find out what the steps are, because there may be, and Dwight, we probably need to invite one or two of them on the show, because I'm sure there is a procedure that when you, as an able-bodied person, park in a disabled spot, I don't know. I'm assuming that you can call the police comes, tow truck gets involved.
Apparently not.
Well, that's why I say we need to find out. We need to find out the exact procedures around it. You go to, I'll take the States, for example. You go to the States, you see that sign that says fine $250 or $500, call this number, and they enforce it.
Towed, booted, all kinds of things could happen to you.
So maybe it's to the point where we do, and this might be a revenue generation for the government, but if you had someone out there that's responsible to now boot your car, and which you have to pay to get that boot off because you parked in a disabled parking spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
That he brought up too, because if you're disabled and you pull up on a cone, it's there. At least he was able to get out, get in his wheelchair, move the cone. But if you, for a disabled person, the point of having the convenience of parking right there, so you don't go through all of that. And at the root of the problem really is people who are able-bodied choosing to park in those disabled spots. And so if you're going to put the cones out there, then your officers should be vigilant to be monitoring when a car pulls up to move that cone for you.
Absolutely.
As a add-on to just securing the spot, just making sure that there is an employee who is going to notice when somebody needs to use that spot until we get to the place where we respect those spots.
We need to have a lot more consideration for each other as a people.
Very much so. One final call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning. Turn on your radio for us, please. Turn on your radio.
Yeah, Dwight. The thing is, you have able-bodied persons who also been inconvenienced with this parking. I went to a financial institution the other day, and I had to be circling, just trying to find the parking, only to find out that all the staff have the best and more convenient parking. They're going to be there all day, but they have all of the convenient parking. The customers got to park all the way to the back. That is crazy. But I was listening to the caller who was asking you those complicated questions. I mean, let me see if I understand you right. You're saying that BPL is privatized. I can't read a 3,000-page thing. Maybe they need to put it in audio that you could just go back and just read it, listen to it periodically until you get all of it. Or maybe bring a politician in or someone from BPL and let them explain every page in that document. Because who signed it? You need to explain it. But my thing is, you're saying now that BPL is sold,
No, that's not correct to say that either. But
that was the caller's comment.
Right. The transmission and distribution part is now under the management of BGC. We're paying them every month to do that.
Okay, then let me rephrase it. Now that this arrangement has been made, whatever the arrangement is, it seems as if that the government or the Bahamian people own less of it. It's fair to say that?
Private individuals have shares, yes. Uh-huh.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do we fund this thing at the same rate before the transaction took place?
I don't know.
Or the rate drops according to the arrangement? Or we still fund it heavily? The taxpayers, that is. That's what I'm trying to understand.
We are paying them...
a set amount.
Yeah, so every month they're getting 5.5 cents per kilowatt hour in the first 5 years. Right? So in the summer, that's going to be higher. In the winter, it'll probably be less, but it's going to be a lot.
Right. You see, I always talk about political live debate, where we have these people debate these issues relative to the area they want to represent. Maybe the ministries as well. But this is not common sense. It cannot be common sense. And if this detail was explained prior to us voting, maybe we would have voted differently. I don't know. But my thing is, right.
Well, this came out in February.
Really?
This information came out in February.
You couldn't read 3,000 pages.
But I mean, that part was known.
You couldn't. Yeah, you could.
No one paid attention to
thing
that.
is, right.
Well, now what do you blame for that?
Very few people.
I mean, Dwight, this whole thing has gotten worse. This situation has gotten worse, and I don't know what in the world we be doing in the Bahamas. I honestly don't know, and I bleed my heart. You know who I really feel this thing for? I feel this thing for people like my grandson and generations yet unborn. When you look at these idiots and what they're going to leave behind for these kids and generations unborn to have to deal with. They didn't have to deal with this when they were young. And they passing all this nonsense on to the next year. I mean, this is just sickening. It's just sickening, right? And I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what they say. Endangering myself from financial situation. The hell with that. My country come first. This is just unbelievable. And we get many more stupid deals like this.
Thank you.
Well, if you go, thanks a lot, Cleaver, appreciate it. If you go by what the Prime Minister was saying yesterday, that yes, this is the embryonic stage, right? And the things are forming and developing. In the 3-4 years, hopefully, this will be stabilized. And would we look back and say, remember in the beginning, but now look at it. But how optimistic are we that this will be the case? How optimistic are you, Don Williams? You could answer this as a chairman of the chamber, or as a private citizen.
We try to be as optimistic as possible, but you understand that businesses, we like to be realistic. So we want to know what information we can possibly get to now prepare ourselves. But you'll find that many businesses, we tend to prepare ourselves ahead of time. So we have to worry less about the red tape. So we are going to do our own due diligence, investigations as to how and what I can put in place for my own business so that I can have the competitive edge, not just within the economy, but how can I now roll out new avenues of products and services. So,
and we did hear the Prime Minister say that they will even look at the legislation regarding solar and making it easier for consumers and maybe businesses to solarize themselves and tie in and all that stuff.
But we don't want that process to take a year.
You want that now?
Yeah. How do you now just do quick cutbacks, quick concessions, and we put it in place now.
Because it's needed now.
It's needed now, and we know that process is not easy. We can accept that the process is not easy. Yes, the government can say you get cutbacks on all of these items for solar. I'm just throwing it out there. But at the same time, you still have to go through ERCA and all of these other items. So let's put a quick system in place. Yes, it's going to have us little bumps in the road, but those are the type of concessions that businesses need right now, so that we can keep the economy running.
We did not hear a timeline on this, and that would have been helpful.
Exactly. So those are the type of things that we were looking forward to hearing, and so yes, we appreciate the address. There should have been more.
Okay. Hey, we are out of time. Don Williams, thank you so much for being here this morning.
We need to extend an hour.
Yeah, absolutely. But next time, thank you again for being here.
No, thank you, and we're looking forward to seeing you at, we got some power brunches coming up. So we got one September 3rd, and then we're going to roll out the date for our wonderful Royal Caribbean brunch. So the 3rd is at Margaritaville, and Royal Caribbean, that's a great partnership that we have. That brunch is always just oversold. But
when is that one?
We'll be rolling out the exact dates, and we're trying to finalize a few items. But we'll be rolling out the exact dates, and then, but as always, just reach out to the chamber. Anyone on our social medias, you'll see all of the information.
September 3rd is already
September 3rd, so we have a SAP Power Brunch. It's not completely sold out. It's a Margaritaville, but tickets are going quickly. It is $80. The team might be a little bit mad at me. It's $82.50, I think, for members, and it's $150 for non-members.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, great stuff. Always a lot of exciting things happening in the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation. Thank you again for being here, Don Williams.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Duquesa Dean, thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure.
I'll see you next week.
God's willing.
And I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend Business, brought to you in part by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. Pick up today's Guardian Business section in today's National Guardian for the latest in business news. And I'll be back again tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight, Strachan, have a great day, everybody. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
Can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made individual, group, and pensions work out of retirement planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit us at cfal.com to start on your path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Southwest Plaza has so many stores, I've been trying to find a sensible way to list them all. There's CBS Bahamas, the Ashai Institute, BENC Snack World, Bamboo Shack Bahamas, they're the Athlete's Foot and BTC, Games and more, John Bull Fine Threads, Alive, Bahari, Dairy Queen, 700 Wines and Spirits, Sandy's Clocks and Island Luck, Starbucks and Lowe's Pharmacy, plus Marco's Pizza and Lorraine. Southwest Plaza, what a wide array of stores. Southwest Plaza, stop by today and explore.
Orthopedics, where movement becomes medicine and treatments become triumphs. At Cleveland Clinic, it's more than just repairing what's broken. It's how we put ourselves back together to reconstruct, rehabilitate, and restore the things that give us life. The future of orthopedics is already in motion. For every care in the world, Cleveland Clinic.
Running low on summer funds? Squeeze every drop of fun out of your summer with a Fidelity personal loan. From backyard upgrades to family getaways, Fidelity is here to help. Call 356-7764 today.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Everybody Wins Live, the winning is bigger, the action is hotter, and the excitement never stops. We're giving away thousands in cash and free spins every month through our high-paying casino tournament. From Spin-Off to Spin Rush to our high-energy slot race tournament, your next spin can turn into your next payday. But that's not all. Lottery players can chase the jackpot, where every $10 lottery spend gets you one step closer to bursting the next jackpot. Will you be our next winner? What are you waiting for?